hours.
Montgomery police and fire medics answered the call, arriving within minutes after it happened. WSFA 12 News reporter Samuel King is live at the scene with the very latest development. Sam, what are police saying happened tonight?
Well, Valerie, they say a man opened fire, and they said he had multiple pistols on him when he opened fire, but the situation is under control right now. Police remain inside the main post office facility investigating the situation, and for that reason, they're not letting people even onto the property to drop off mail in the parking lot boxes. But other than that, things have calmed down a lot here. Police say no one was hurt. They say the suspect is in custody, but the situation made for some tense moments just a few hours ago. Witnesses tell WSFA 12 News all was normal inside the main post office until about 6:30 in the evening. That's when witnesses say a manager was heard running and screaming and a suspect had a gun. They say the gunman was known to employees, but it's unclear whether he was a current or former employee. Police responded quickly to the scene and evacuated the facility.
The main post office is a very large building, and several hundred people work here. And so it took quite some time to search the building and the premises to ensure that nobody was injured, nobody was hurt.
Montgomery Police Chief Kevin Murphy said a number of officers were already in the East Montgomery area because of holiday shopping detail. Chief Murphy said that, coupled with the training officers receive, made a huge difference in this situation.
With that plan, that training was very effective tonight because within 10 minutes of us getting on the scene, this suspect was in custody. And I think that saved a lot of lives.
And police tell us they believe the shooting happened in the mail processing portion of the facility and not in the retail portion of the facility. And the Postal Service tells us tonight they expect the main post office to reopen in the morning for normal operations. Valerie? WSFA 12 News cameras were the first to capture the chaos that ensued after a robbery at Title Cash on Atlanta Highway. Police say the 19-year-old suspect ran behind the row of businesses and into a residential neighborhood. Police say he first fired at the pursuing officers on Mimosa Drive. Ashley Myers and her mother heard it all.
We heard the shots right over here, and our van got shot, and so we run to my room. We locked the front door and we run to my room, and we're calling the cops.
But the situation wasn't over. The suspect then ran over the Forest Park Drive.
I heard some noise. I didn't know what it was. I walked out in the yard, the backyard with my dogs, and I heard a bunch of shooting going on. I told the dogs, I said, get in the house. And then the police was running all up and down the street.
Police say the suspect shot the police dog named Bodie in the face. Bodie's handler then shot the suspect. Police Chief Kevin Murphy says Bodie continued to go after the suspect even after it was shot.
And really at that phase in time, the dog was protecting the handler. Don't hurt my partner. And, the partner, being the officer involved, went to the assistance of his partner.
Within a half hour, police have the situation under control, but it's something residents here will remember for a lot longer.
Shaken after maybe an hour after. It was crazy. We were out here, and I never really gone through anything like that before. It was scary.
The Alabama Bureau of Investigation is looking into the officer-involved shooting, and the chief says the officer will be temporarily taken off the streets during that investigation. Bodie, the canine dog, was shot in the face. He will likely lose an eye, but is otherwise expected to be okay. And while the suspect is recovering from his injuries tonight, Valerie.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Shooting or...
That city council meeting now. WSFA 12 News reporter Samuel King just stepped out of that meeting to talk with us now. The council made any decisions?
Well, Bob, the council voted narrowly within the past half hour, 5-4, to commission that study you were speaking about. Now they have to decide how to do that study. Councilman Glenn Pruitt, who sponsored this idea, said it was an effort to provide the best education for the students within the city of Montgomery. And School Board President Charlotte Meadows attended a work session earlier this evening where there was a lengthy discussion about this. The vote itself was relatively short. And Meadows said she understood why the council has decided to take this step.
It absolutely could be done. Whether or not that's the wisest and the best thing for them to do with their resources, I think that's what the feasibility study would look at. Whether or not that would improve education for Montgomery, I think that's the big question.
Now, if we get to the point where the city would take over the school system, and again, we're just at the beginning of this process, it would apply to only the schools within the city limits of Montgomery. The schools outside the city limits would still be run by the county or some other school system. But again, this is just a very small step in this process. Now the city council will have to decide how to proceed with this study, and a formal study, Bob, could cost tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's something the council has to consider moving forward.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sam, for that breaking